Tomb of Annihilation campaign here on the With Disadvantage podcast. I'm your host and DM, Chev. And then I'm just going to go through, as usual, through the top of Fantasy Grounds here, and starting with our new character, Ramiel. How do you pronounce that? It's played by Deranged Plague. Ramiel. Okay. Proud Sorrow. Awesome. Welcome. We're excited to have you. And then also we have Bob Blunderbuss, played by Rainbow.
I'm excited to be back.
Hello.
And for those of you who didn't see, Rainbow and I did a little bit of a little side backstory adventure on Friday to give his character a little more in-depth seriousness, so that he's got a little more motivation in this game here. Do you want me to reveal what we went through on Friday, or do you want me to leave that a mystery? Okay, so there's just a slight little change. Originally, Bob was trying to find his husband, but now actually, instead of trying to find his husband, he's trying to save his husband. And so we put that all together. His husband died on a little bit of a adventure that they were having, and he had to get him resurrected in the town of Baldur's Gate. And shortly after being resurrected is when all of this nonsense started happening, where resurrection magic and anybody who's been resurrected previously is now withering away, and nobody can be rezzed right now while you guys are, as you're all aware, with the soulmonger. And so that's Bob's motivation now. We also have Tychus with us, played by Jay.
That's me.
Welcome. And Nock, played by Bunsen.
Yeah, I'm here.
And the character who still has no name, played by Bryn.
Wait, is Bunsen playing two characters?
What? No.
Oh, okay.
No. That was the thing. We sound similar.
Oh, right. Okay.
Bryn, is that why you wanted me to be a sibling character?
No. It's just because I like making sibling characters. I've done it before and it's very fun.
All right.
Why I was your number 2 choice.
No,
We sound similar.
no, trust me.
So last we left off, it's been a couple weeks now, so it's a little fuzzy, but I believe you guys were trying to find a map of the region. Is that right? Not Bunsen? Weren't you in there trying to find a map?
We were asking for directions to. Let me check.
I think it was Mumbala.
Yeah, we were waiting to get directions so that we could direct the sailors that were going to take us out to our first lead of the cities.
Ah, right. So you guys were going to head out on the boat. I forgot about that. Okay, cool.
I was. I remember I went back into the. Is this a library in here? What was this area again?
In that area, yeah, it was like a study area, tables and lots of artifacts, lots of archaeology type stuff in there, and shelves of books related to archaeology.
Yeah, I saw someone in there. I asked if she knew where Mabala was, and she said she could point it out if I brought her a map. So I was going back to the group to get her a map.
Oh, right. Okay, cool.
Can you put the map? If I don't think I have it.
Oh, yeah.
I'll go with you just because if we update the map, I will know exactly where we're going.
Okay, so Nock and No Name, you guys are both going back into the Temple of Gond?
Yep.
Okay.
I'm gonna follow.
All right, the three of you are headed inside, and as soon as you get inside, you spot, I forget what she looked like. Was she a gnome?
I think she was elderly. Might have been a gnome.
Okay. We'll say she was a human.
Like a gnome.
I think he was a human. So it's a little elderly human. On the left side there, the western side, she's still in there from where you left off, and she's still just kind of organizing books, putting books that are out of place in the right order, and dusting off shelves, stuff like that.
All right. I approach her and say, "Hello. I have brought you a map. Could you point out Ball?"
Ah, yes, you again. Okay. Let's see. And she takes the map and she draws a little marker on it. Let's see. I think it's this map. that you guys have for where you are?
It's called Player's Jolt Complete.
Yes, I just popped it up. Can you see it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. And so she draws on the map. Let's see. How do I do a circle? And she circles right there, just west of the Aldani Basin.
Okay. Thank you.
Looking at this, I would argue our best option would be to go around to here or to just walk, because either way we're going about the same distance. That's really far off.
Thank you.
Where are we supposed to be with the green dot?
Half the
Yeah.
half the map didn't load full.
Yeah, that's kind of intentional. The grayed out stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
You haven't explored it. That's just the
How do I-
overall
how
map.
do I
Making
use a
sure.
pointer? How do I use a pointer?
Hold both mouse buttons down and drag.
I think it would be better if we got a boat that drop us off here, and then go into land instead of walking through all this land.
Yeah.
You will have to hike mountains.
Yeah. You want to do jungle or mountains is the question. Either way, we have to do jungle, but do you want more jungle than mountain?
I'm sorry. Do you folks need anything else or?
Ooh, what about here?
We should be good.
Thank
Thank
Okay. I'll be over here cleaning if you need anything. And she steps off and continues her job.
Alright,
I'm gonna head out, I assume, with the group.
of course.
Okay.
And
So you guys all step
I will-
outside, and as soon as you step outside, you guys encounter a character here. Hold on, where is he? Well, I lost his token. Oh, there. Ramiel? Is that? I'm sorry, deranged. I forget how to pronounce it. Ramiel. Okay, so Ramiel, you see them all step out of the Temple of Gond as you are walking past it. You have just gotten off of a boat to come here to Schult. You just finished an excursion basically to head back to some major city to sell off a bunch of supplies and then come back here to Schult. And as you get off the dock here, you step off the dock right into the main pathway. You see them stepping out of the building there, and they kind of catch your eye because they're an odd-looking bunch, considering the usual folks you see around here in Schult.
These folks. Hello, all. How do you do?
Hello.
May I
I just-
interest you in some wares?
I lean to knock and I go, "Do you know this person?"
I mean, for shits and giggles, can I do a roll to see if I do?
Sure.
What kind of roll would that be?
A history check.
Did he offer us ale?
No.
He just said wares.
No.
Oh.
But I can
ale.
offer ale if you would like as well.
That is a 13.
Okay. So you're looking at him close, and you recall seeing him before in Baldur's Gate. As he seems to travel back and forth between a lot of the major cities, just ferrying goods back and forth. But you don't know his name.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say,
You look familiar, but I don't know your name.
Well, my name is Ramiel. I am a purveyor of sorts of different wares, mostly things that I hunt. I have triceratops, I have flying monkeys. What would you like?
Oh, you got. What do you mean, flying monkeys? Like pets?
Well, I mean, if you want a pet, then sure, I could get you one, but they're mostly dead for the most part.
well,
How
that's
much
good.
is a flying monkey? Pet.
Pet? I never actually had that asked of me before. 30 gold?
Maybe later.
As you guys are talking, as you guys are talking, you see Syndra approaching from this direction, and she's in a hurry. She runs out to the dock and she sees you guys, and she says, "Oh, thank goodness, you haven't left. I found a guide for you."
Guide.
Yes. You seem like the most capable group. I'm glad you haven't ventured out yet, but I have a guide. His name is Gimbal, and he knows the jungles of Schultz better than anyone here. Gimbal. She looks behind her. He was right behind me. Sorry, I forget Syndra's voice.
It's okay.
That's nice. This is Ram. I'm just gonna call him Ram.
She turns around and you see this little gnome running up behind her. He's out of breath. And, you're a fast lady for somebody who's withering away. Anyway, he puts his hands on his knees and he catches his breath for a minute, and then he stands up and he says, "The name's Gimbal. I want to be your guide and guide you through the jungles of Schultz. Have you decided what direction you would like to take? Do you have a map?"
Yes.
Actually, we do.
Good. What would you like to do? We could barter for passage on a ship of some kind, a canoe. We can use the canoe to travel the river, or we could find passage on a ship and hike in from the coast. Although we would have to go through a small mountain passage that's known for mysterious violence. We'll put it that way.
Mysterious violence.
I mean, the river sounds nice. Is it fastest?
River.
I would suggest the river. Yes, it can be quite treacherous at times, but this time of year it's actually quite calm for the most part.
Can you explain what you mean by mysterious violence?
You mean in the mountain pass?
Yes.
Yes.
I
Well,
think you're
the natives are quite restless. They patrol the passage because it's basically a bottleneck. Anyone trying to travel through there is bound to encounter them.
I'd rather avoid bloodshed if we could.
Yes.
There will be an issue of finding a vessel that could carry 6 of us down a river.
We can get more than one canoe.
I am not going to fit in a canoe.
He looks you up and down. Fair enough. Shall we walk then?
That might be for the best. Perhaps
What
we
about a
can broker-
rowboat?
Perhaps we can peacefully broker our way through the passage.
Do you think you can fit in a rowboat?
Perhaps, but that would make our passage even slower.
Yes, and we cannot. A rowboat is not narrow enough for the river.
What if we tie rope to you and drag you?
Come now, let's get a move on. We've got to. The time is running out. The clock is running down.
There were some fishermen who offered us passages that traveled the peninsula. Perhaps if we gave them a destination to drop us off at towards our own destination, we could easily take passage there and hike our way through.
But if we hike, we have to deal with the mysterious murder valley.
I'm sure we can peacefully broker our way through, and if not, there would be 6 of us there. It shouldn't be too difficult to fight our way through if we absolutely have to.
Not recommended, but I suppose it would shave off a couple hours, perhaps. But provided that the violent natives don't hold us up for longer than the time we're saving.
Do you speak the language?
That I do not. The Tabaxi do not speak common in this particular tribe.
Does anyone speak the language?
I know of nobody who speaks the native language in this region.
What about anyone in our party? Anyone in our party know the language?
I doubt
No.
it.
I come from
The thing you must understand, sir, is that the tribes in Schult are nomadic and disparate and separated by all sorts of different terrain. It's quite an adventure, but they do not all speak one common language. They're not a one big group of civilized people on this peninsula.
Oh, maybe someone will speak Elvish or something we know.
I wouldn't count on it.
So we barter for ship then.
Yeah, let's go.
Bartering for passage seems like our best bet.
Okay, we have 2 options. The pass I mentioned, which would be the quickest route, or we can go all the way around to the Jahaka Bay and come in from that side. It would be much safer, although we wouldn't be saving any time at all compared to walking.
I'm always down for a little bit of flavor of life. Let's take a little bit of a dangerous one.
All right, then we are going to the Mist Cliffs then. And he steps over to the docks and looks the docks up and down. And he says, You've already secured passage, yes?
Presuming those sailors were still there.
And so you look at the docks and you see those sailors are sitting on their boat, just kind of sitting back in some chairs and drinking something.
Well, hopefully this should go smoothly.
Well, lead the way.
I would approach the sailors and talk to them. Say, "Hello, fellows. Do you remember us from the other day?"
Oh, yes, hello. Welcome. You still require passage?
Yes, we would like to broker passage if it would be permissible.
Are you wanting to head down to Jahaka Bay?
Yes, may we board your vessel and discuss terms?
Certainly. It's going to be about 50 gold to get all the way around to Jahaka Bay. Unless I'm dropping you off for sooner than that. And Gimbal pipes up and says, These folks would like to be dropped off at the Mist Cliffs, not all the way to Jahaka Bay. And he...
Be able to broker passage there any cheaper?
Oh yeah, that'll shit. That's less than half the journey. So, tell you what, 20 gold, and we can just load you up and drop you off there.
Alrighty then.
Well, we won't be losing that much time if we're dropping you off that early. All right, hop in, and he gestures across the dock to a bigger ship that they have. He says, "We got a couple vessels here. This little one's not going to carry all of you. The other day you only had a couple people, or at least I didn't know that there were more in your group. So let's go ahead and load you up onto our bigger one over here. We got a bigger load to haul anyway." So, and then he kind of does a little, I won't do it in the mic or blow your eardrums out, but he does that whistle between the fingers, that really loud whistle, and his little deckhand comes up, and he just says, "What, sir? What can I do?" And he just says, "Load up the other ship with the cargo we got in the port here in the hold here." And so he's like, right away, and he starts hauling stuff across the dock. You guys getting on the ship then?
Is it the ship down here?
Yep.
It's this one here.
Who's paying?
Although I'm not really using the map as like definitive, like what ships are there.
I'm actually having trouble finding where my gold's at in the character sheet here.
Are you in the Fantasy Ground character sheet or the being?
Fantasy Ground.
Yeah, it's not gonna
We're not tracking gold in that sheet.
Okay, then I gotta open DNA.
Yeah, but the only reason we even fill out those sheets at all is just because the rolls from Fantasy Grounds are nice because you can just click your attack and damage rolls really easy.
The six of
I
us.
should have a good amount of gold given my bet.
You are welcome to fill in your gold on the Fantasy Grounds sheet. And when I finish my script, it will automatically fill in everything it possibly can. So at that point, it'll be better.
So it's not 20 gold per person, right? Just 20 gold total.
Nope, he just said 20 gold to load you guys up and haul you down there. 20 gold's quite a bit, so.
Should we all
Quite
just
a hefty price.
take out 4 gold from our currency each?
Yeah, Bryn doesn't have. I don't think Noni will have any money, considering nameless Fearbulk from the woods. But thankfully, I have a decent amount, so I can cover their fare.
Gimbal also he's kind of looking around and he walks up to the guy, the sailor dude, and he's like, 20 gold is a pretty steep price for a trip around the tip of the peninsula, don't you think? And he just says, "Well, we got a timeline to keep. I got to make some money on this." And Gimbal just says, "Very well," and he forks over the gold.
Oh, he pays for us.
Yep. And then, and he just says, "Consider that a good faith effort on my part. I'm hoping that you guys will keep pace with me. I'm very interested in making my way to Mambala as well. I want to help you guys solve this problem. I have several loved ones who are affected by this withering.
Rest easy, friend. You're not the only one.
Fair enough. I understand. And he climbs aboard. You guys all aboard the ship now?
Yep.
Anyone leave
Yep.
behind? Okay. All right, so they finish loading everything up, and the guy unties everything from the docks. And did I tell you guys his name the other day?
Whose name?
The sailor.
I don't believe so.
Okay. Then he loads everyone up, and he says, "Y'all ready to shove off now?"
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. He says, "All right. Well, my name's Jermaine, by the way. And if you need anything, just come get me. But I'll just be driving the ship here, and you guys can make yourself comfortable below deck, above deck. Doesn't matter to me.
Do you mind if I do some fishing on the way?
We're not stopping for any fishing, my friend.
I can just put it over the thing. I can fish over the side while you move.
Sure, whatever you can do while we're going. I don't care."
I don't think fishing works that way.
All right, so the ship starts to pull out of the port and pulls out into kind of the main bay of Schultz here. And you guys pass several bigger ships coming in. This is the main entryway to the port. Tons of ships coming in and out of the port this way. Let me zoom out here. I'm actually going to go to the other. I'm just going to close the port map now and just go over to this other one. I'll reshare it in case anyone doesn't see it. Okay, and so you guys are now pulling out of the port to go out this way. And so the sea ahead kind of is it's definitely very windy. It's very churning waves and crashing over the bow of your ship just as you start coming out into the ocean there. And water streams off the rising crags like rivers crashing down a mountainside. Let's see. At last, the emerging island stops growing in size. This is for coming into the port. My bad. So you guys leave the port, and the island shrinks in size as you guys pull away.
We left Ramio.
No, he's a really shitty sailor.
He looks at Knock.
I mean, they were pre-drinking, man.
Look at Knock. Knock, how much weight can you lift?
Okay, and so as you guys are pulling out, so you guys are just cresting out this way, and a large turtle of some kind, it's just this huge turtle emerges from the water, and its head pokes out and it stops your ship in front, and he says, "Who crosses Armag's ocean?" And then the sailor has to halt the ship so he doesn't crash into the turtle, and he just says, "Whoa, buddy! Whoa! Holy! What are you?" And he says, "I am Armag."
I wave at Armag.
"I demand tribute for safe passage on my waters."
I'm gonna wave at
Barely
Armag.
passing through,
Hey,
Armag.
bud.
What is it that you wish for your tribute?
"What do you have?"
Nothing that's worth your while. Maybe pass.
We cannot offer much. We are traveling light, for we are on an important mission to save lives. The most I can offer, perhaps, is wisdom.
"Wisdom will not save me. I require monetary compensation at the minimum."
What would a giant turtle in the ocean have?
We got groceries to buy, guys.
That is none of your business.
The turtle bar turtle got toilet paper bag and stuff.
Can
I toss it a silver. Flip it a silver.
He tosses it one silver and into the water in front of him, and he looks down and he kind of ducks his head under the water for a moment, and then you guys don't see him for a minute. Mr. Sailor, sir, Jermaine, you say? Might we try passing now? And he's like, hold on, I can still see the silhouette. He's gonna come up underneath us if we're not careful.
Can I have made a perception check about the turtle, especially him, or insight check, I guess it would be?
Sure. What specifically are you trying to figure out?
Why this turtle would want money ever?
Okay.
That is a 12.
Okay, so you guys are barely out of the bay, and there's ships constantly coming in and out of here. And so it does seem very fishy that there is a giant turtle that just randomly pops up and wants money. And so, but you're able to probably figure out that there's something else up from that, although you can't really say specifically what.
Do I get any bad vibes from this turtle specifically?
Mischievous vibes.
I bet, considering my own nature, I can pretty easily tell that, huh?
Yeah.
You should try to pickpocket that turtle.
I don't think he has a pocket to pick.
I'm going to just for safety throw another 2 gold into the ocean for him. I don't particularly feel like getting fucked over by a turtle, guys. I don't know about you. This is not how my legacy ends.
While you're mid-sentence, the turtle head rises out of the water again, and just in time to get hit in the eye by 2 gold pieces. And ow! Oh, gold! He dives back into the water.
All right, let's go.
Oh.
All right, man the sails. And then his little helper hand drops the sails and turns them into the wind, and the boat immediately takes off and heads across over the head. And just as the stern of the ship crosses where he was, the turtle head rises from the water again. He rises up facing where you were, and he turns around. Hey, this is not enough. Come back here.
Later.
Is it giving chase?
He dives back under the water. You can't tell if he's giving chase or not.
Can I
He could be pursuing.
keep a close eye on the water to see if I can watch for a silhouette?
Yes. Go ahead and make me a perception check. And were you doing something, Tychus? I thought I heard you say something.
I was just telling everyone to study themselves.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, 17.
Okay, so you look at the water, and as you guys get further away from the shore, the water is darker and darker. And so it's really hard to tell. But you're pretty sure you don't see anything following.
I think we're safe here, guys.
All right, that was a close one. I've heard tales about a giant dragon turtle, but I thought they were fake.
They.
Oh,
I'd say to the
and in case you guys wanted to see what his head looked like, there you go.
Oh, gotcha.
You know, guys, once we get this sorted out, maybe we can come back here and fish this guy up and then, sell his meat.
I'm gonna say to the.
I would rather not.
I'm not sure your party is up to the task. What did you say your name was, by the way?
It's Bob.
Bob. Okay, yes, Bob, I don't think your party could take out a giant dragon turtle. At least not yet.
Perhaps in my youth we could. That's a giant dragon turtle. Perhaps it speaks the language of its ancestors. I'm fluent in Draconic. Perhaps I could communicate with it in a more earnest manner.
Yeah, you can.
That's not a bad idea.
While you distracted, we blow it up.
Well, we don't
I
even
don't
know.
think that's a good idea.
We don't even know if it was real. That was really unusual. What would a dragon turtle have anything gold for?
I mean, it is a dragon.
Perhaps it was a giant druid.
So it's probably going to be another hour of travel. Do you guys want me to just jump ahead?
I want roam around the ship.
Okay.
I would like.
I'm just standing on at the end of the ship, just humming to myself.
I'm just
would
at
like-
the edge of the ship trying not to vomit because all I've ever known is dirt, and this is terrible.
Can I roll an investigation check? Just.
Yeah, that's all I was going to have you do that. Just roll me one investigation check for the journey.
And what do I need to roll for my fishing?
A performance check
Performance with
roll the
advantage.
with disadvantage. Yeah.
No, advantage.
Why advantage?
Cancel out then.
Oh, or cancel out then. So it's no, because I got advantage on fishing because my trait that I picked.
Oh, okay.
Would fishing be
Yeah.
survival?
Did you say performance?
Yeah, performance, and then just normal because they cancel each other out.
Chev, are you not sure? Are you sure it wouldn't be survival actually?
I think it's context specific
Oh, that'd be
Yeah.
survival.
because this is more sport fishing.
Yeah, well, he's like, you're on a moving ship in really rough water, so.
This is definitely less fishing for food and more sport fishing. So I'll take performance.
Okay, yeah, I think I agree with that. We'll stick with performance. Okay. Bunsen, you search the ship pretty thoroughly, looking around through a bunch of cargo. Is there anything specific that would catch your eye that you're looking for? Because so far you just see that they have a bunch of cargo. Are you actually going to go through their cargo?
Here we go.
It depends. I don't want to steal something that they would miss or they would catch me with.
Okay, because everything's in a crate. You would have to open crates.
Alright.
They're all nailed crates.
Are there any crates that are? How well guarded is this ship?
I mean, it's not very big, and he just has himself in the deckhand.
If
Okay.
you have to
Oh.
ask these questions, this is not a good idea. Not a good idea. But hey, let's roll with this.
I can't get in trouble for just checking the cargo.
Yeah, you can. You
Chris near
can.
me?
They're trusting you. You can go in the cargo hold. I don't think they don't seem to have a problem with that. But if you start opening crates, someone might notice.
Is Tigris
I'm,
near me?
I'm just gonna take a peek.
I'm on.
And that's my
I'm at
story.
the. I'm at
Take
the
a peek at what? Just at the boxes, or are you actually trying to open a box?
I'm gonna try to open the box.
Okay, they're nailed down, so you will have to pry them open with some kind of crowbar or something.
Crowbar.
What might I have? I have a baton. Would that work?
No.
That's why
I
you
have.
buy the burglar's kit.
I do have thieves' tools.
Again, no, those are delicate,
Yeah.
fancy, tiny metal tools.
That's for like, yeah.
No, go ahead and
That's
open a
for
box
lock
with it.
Oh, I do have a crowbar.
All right.
Why do you have a crowbar?
Burglar's tools.
Where are you keeping? I have seen this robot.
Also,
It's-
having a
it's
crowbar is
where-
very helpful.
This crowbar was stored in my forearm. Don't question it.
I thought you was just stored somewhere else.
Oh, gadget.
All right. Roll a performance check.
Oh, that one.
They are nailed down really good. You are not able to pry them open.
Alright. I'm gonna stop before I get found out. Try to take a
In fact, your crowbar gets wedged inside, and you're unable to remove it.
peek. Can I
And
try
if you
to
want, you can
get out?
get someone else to go down there and help you.
Roll an athletics check.
Oh no.
That's a -1.
This is gonna be
11.
great.
Okay, so you are trying really hard to pull it free, but it does not come free from the box.
Again,
What's the positioning of this box relative to the room?
So it's the first. At least I'm imagining it's the first one among a group of boxes, some stacked up behind it, but that one is by itself in front of the others.
Would I be able to use a box to push down on the crowbar?
The boxes are really heavy.
Use a
Can I
box
try to
push
sit
down
on the
box.
crowbar?
Yeah, you can sit on it, but it doesn't
I'm
do
trying-
anything. I'm not even gonna have you
I'm
roll
trying.
because you weren't even able to pry it open when you were trying.
I don't want to lose my crowbar. Come on.
Is Tigris near me while I'm fishing?
I'm standing on. What's the end of the ship? The horn.
Bunsen?
Is it is
The
that
bow.
I'm gonna give
Okay,
you a
yeah,
hint.
that's where I'm just standing watching the.
I have no idea really what stealing is.
So I am
or
going
that
to.
what you're doing is bad.
I'm gonna look at Tigris. I'm gonna say he's probably near me enough to say something, and I'm gonna say, Tigris, why don't you check on that problematic robot? I haven't seen him in a while.
I trust the robot to take care of their own. To take care of her own things.
You trust that robot? Well, you must be more silly than I thought you were.
I would like to.
Perhaps the sea is making me too nostalgic to care.
I would like to seek out No Name.
I'm just like
Okay.
leaning over the edge.
Yeah, you
like,
find her on the
staring
top.
intensely at the ocean.
Struggling not to puke.
I nudge her on the shoulder and I say,
Right.
All right. What do you need?
I got a tool of mine accidentally went box.
Oh. Okay. I'll see what I can do about that.
"Alright,
I'll come down.
I lead her to the.
I love the idea of our conversation happening in the background, you doing something dumb and me having to help fix it.
Okay, so no name. You guys both go down into the hold, and you guys both go down like there's a little like wooden steps that go down into the hold, and the little deckhand guy that you don't know his name, he hasn't said his name yet, is coming up past you. Pardon me. And he steps to the side to let you guys pass.
Thank you.
Just pass by without saying anything.
Okay.
Not being-
And he, as you guys walk by, he turns around and he says, "Do you need anything?"
No, I'm good, thank you.
All right then. And he continues up to the deck.
I'm gonna go down.
Is my crowbar still there? When-
Yeah, it's still sticking out of the front of the crate there.
What
I'm gonna go
check do I
down.
need to do?
I don't get paid enough to check on that.
I'm gonna quit fishing, go down there, and probably run into that guy that they talked to.
Okay, so you start to head toward the hold, and the little deckhand pops up the top, and he just says, "Hello."
Oh, hello, my friend. Do you have anything to drink?
We might have something. Let me check the cabin. And he runs toward the rear of the ship and kind of disappears into the main cabin.
What do I have to roll?
So one of you guys roll an athletics check with advantage.
Alright. Definitely not me.
Oh,
Dude,
I didn't know I needed advantage. Oh my God,
not
what's
much
going on?
better.
This is just to remove it, right? We're not trying to open it anymore.
Yeah.
Yes, but because you rolled a 1 to get it stuck, I made the DC pretty high. So,
I can give it another go.
I mean, you guys can keep trying. I would basically, if you rolled bad, I was just gonna, you might get caught by the deckhand, is all.
Okay, let me give
Let's
you
do one more
another
roll.
with advantage. Hell yes.
There we go. Finally, no name and Knock, you both are able to finally pry the crowbar free as it comes flying out of the crate, and a big wooden splinter of the lid and part of the side comes flying out with it, and you see that it's the two pieces of wood from the top, from the lid and the side that are connected by a nail, and the nail is completely embedded in the little crook part of the crowbar.
I look at you and go, how did you do this? I'm kind of amazed.
It was a very awkward accident. In fact, I would very much like you not to mention that.
Of course. What is this thing anyway? It's kind of sweet.
That's very private. Please don't ask.
And I put it.
No name learns to do crimes in the woods.
All right, so do you guys stay down below deck or do you head back up?
Can I take a? Am I able to see into the crate? I'm just-
Actually, yeah.
Yeah, so you look inside the crate and something shiny catches your eye, but you can't tell what it is because it's dark inside the crate.
Are there any light sources?
No. It's really dark down in the hold, and they just barely they loaded up the ship real fast. They haven't lit a torch or anything like that. No lanterns. All you have is the light that's coming from the opening to the upper deck.
Gotcha. Well, when you said there's something shiny in this, do you mean like the only object within this crate is some shiny object?
You can't tell. So you only took a tiny chunk of the corner of this crate off. So it's not like you actually took the lid off. Does that make sense? There's like a hole in the crate, and you're trying to peer into it.
Yeah. I have a candle and a tinderbox. Can I light a candle? Use that to take a look inside?
Yeah, roll a performance check.
Nat one in the hobo.
This should be good.
I'm really hoping not.
This should be good.
Oh no.
Well, you definitely light the crate on fire. And as you guys are scrambling, the deckhand comes back with a little mug of mead for you, Bob, and he says, "Here's your mead, sir. It's not the greatest stuff, but it will do." And then he's like,
He's violent now.
and he sniffs a little bit, and then he looks down the hold, and he sees flames. And he's, "No! Captain Germain! Captain Germain!" He runs down the stairs. And he sees the cargo on fire. And then Germain comes running down the stairs like, "Oh, what are y'all doing? I trusted you!" And the front crate is on fire. And he manages to grab a pail and fill it with water and throws it on the crate and puts it out. And then...
To be clear, during this, I am running back. I'm pacing back. I'm basically running in circles, trying to feign panic that had absolutely nothing to do with it.
Okay.
Roll deception.
Yes, you have to roll deception
I
for
was
that.
actively trying to put out the fires, so you know.
I'm not gonna have you roll deception, no name, because I don't even think you know that he's being deceptive.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
He's learned the
I
birds and the
start
bees of
sniffing the
robots.
air. Does it smell like anything's burning?
So yeah, he manages to put out the fire, and you guys are all standing around, and he kind of removes the charred lid off of this crate, and the rest of the crate kind of falls into ashes, and you just see a tiny little bit of a shiny silver pattern on a fabric, and he just says, "Oh no, the royal silk, it's gone. They're gonna be so. Who did this? Which one of you did this? You're gonna have to compensate me."
I'm. First of all, I assume I lost my candle, or do I keep it?
Yeah, so I was imagining that the candle fell off. So when you say you have a candle, did you tell me how you imagined what it looked like? Did it have like a handle and like wax on top of it, or was it just wax, or what was it?
Just what I was imagining.
Okay, then yeah, you dropped it into the fire, and that's what started the fire. You dropped it into the crate, that's what started the fire, and the candle's toast. But there is a little puddle of white wax on top of this silk, and the captain kind of pokes it with his finger, and now that it's cooling off a little bit, now that it's all wet, but he can tell it's wax. And he says, "A candle? Who lit a candle?"
I would like to point out I rolled a 20 on my deception to not look guilty.
Not a natural 20, you didn't, but yes.
Oh, there's no name.
Rolling.
I have no candles, only torches.
I'm going to say,
I don't know what happened. I was just down here, looking for some space. I needed to be away from people, and suddenly a candle fell and set the box on fire.
What candle? We don't have any candles. We use lanterns on this ship.
Are you sure it wasn't one that fell out of it?
I'm gonna make you roll another deception check.
Are you sure?
Not sure that was a 20 level.
no, like, are you
Maybe-
sure that it wasn't like something that fell out, one that fell out of the lantern, like candles within the lanterns?
We use oil lanterns.
That was
Maybe a rat was in here and dropped his candle.
All right, so he's like totally confused where the candle came from, but you seem super innocent, and he's having a hard time reading you since you're a construct anyway. So he's
And I have no face.
yeah, you have no face exactly. So he's just kind of suspicious of everyone now. But he's like, no one's gonna own up to this. All right then. Well, don't expect me to pick you up. And then he goes up top and he says, "Oh, what perfect timing! You can get the hell off my ship now." And he drops the anchor.
I'm sorry, sir.
Sorry for what?
I'm sorry this happened.
He glares at you. Get the hell off my ship.
Okay.
Get off my ship.
he extends like a little rope ladder down the side of the ship, and he's not anchored close enough to the shore, so you're gonna have to
Captain?
swim like 10 to 15 feet.
Captain, how much is that silk? Out of curiosity.
The charred silk?
Yeah.
I don't think you'd be aware
Like,
of
how much is it worth now, or how much was it worth before you all set it on fire?
Oh, before someone set it up for how much was it worth?
500 gold.
I don't think.
I don't
They
know that
they were
I'm sorry.
it was from one of the merchant princes in Port Nyanzaru.
Oh fuck.
That is almost certainly going to come back to bite us, so someone...
You can always take this robot instead.
Rainbow, I don't think your character is aware of the silk. Stop talking.
Oh, that's right. You're not.
was
Well,
he
no,
on
he
that
no, that's right. He followed the deckhand down there when the fire started. Because the deckhand brought him mead, and then he smelled
Do
the
we have
smoke.
to roll it all for the swim, or are we just gonna?
No, it's fine. I'm just gonna let you guys get in the water. There's nothing to roll for. You're just gonna be all wet.
I do have a question. Do I sink?
I'll let you decide that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have to
You
breathe.
just run it on the floor.
Here, Bunsen, I'm gonna make it easy for you. I am like 8 feet tall. I'm gonna pick you up. We're
No,
gonna
I
walk.
really don't mind. It's just gonna be a bit of a walk up the shore. I don't have to breathe. It's fine.
No, I can just walk.
Like a Terminator just emerging from the bottom of it.
He gets out, and then he can't move anymore, and you're struggling to hear what he says. He's just saying, "Oil can."
What? Move on without you? Okay, we'll send help.
So yeah, I just hop off the side of the ship, get into the water.
Okay. You know what? Let's do this. We'll do slash. We'll roll 1d2.
No, I'm saying I sink.
Oh, you were saying you sink. Oh, I thought you said
Yes.
you didn't know. Okay.
How deep is the water?
All right, you sink to the bottom here, but you're close to the shore, so it's about 10, 15 feet deep, and you hit the bottom, and there's tons of moss and rocks and stuff that you're having to walk over. It probably takes you a good 5-10 minutes to walk to the shore, and everyone there is already there waiting for you as you emerge from the sea.
Right, as long as I don't get stuck, that's fine.
Yes, like I said, I'm not gonna have you guys roll for anything. I want to get you onto the shore. So now that you guys are on shore, you are seeing basically you're seeing a cliff in front of you that's 1,000 feet high. It's a wall of like volcanic rock, and it stretches on for about 200 miles along Schultz West Coast. There's no beach or anything, just jagged rocks and crashing waves against the rocks. The cliffs are home to a number of native species and stuff in this area, but so far you only know of the tabaxi that patrol the mountain pass from Gimbal.
Me land. Just
You are right here.
Okay.
Can you see the arrow?
Yes.
Okay, good. No?
Is it the green arrow?
I can see.
Yeah.
Yes. Green arrow.
Okay, yeah. I see it.
There's no other arrow.
That's,
No,
No, there's
arrow,
a
that's fine.
black
Oh, okay.
that's where we're
Yeah,
going.
that's
We
fine.
had that circled, remember?
Gotcha. Okay. Cool. Okay, let's see.
Well,
All right, so Gimbal finally gets all the water out of his shoes, and he stands up and he says, "Well, that was quite the adventure. Not sure what you two were doing in the hold, but guess we'll move on.
I was helping with the leg thingy.
I must say before we begin discussing what to do next that we must be somewhat quiet, as the mountain range is home to a variety of Aarakocra that do not like intruders."
I am just then rising out of the water, and I say,
Quiet, you say?
I look at Knock and No Name and go, you two, no more sneaking off to make out.
What did you say, Bunsen?
I said, quiet, you say.
Oh, yeah.
while stroking his chin.
Yes.
Well, I can patrol on ahead and make sure the path is clear, kind of. We've set out an easy path for us to navigate.
A scout would be good. Yes.
I can easily change our path, actually.
I'm sorry, you mind repeating that one more time? I didn't
I
quite.
can change our path if you'd like. Is there any rough terrain ahead of us, like immediately?
Oh yeah, this whole beach is rough terrain. It's all
Oh, yeah.
jagged rocks.
I'm just gonna turn like a 5-foot cube into smooth normal area suddenly.
Where you guys just underneath you?
Quiet,
Yeah.
Okay.
quiet action, because
What is this ability?
Oh, this is Mold Earth.
Mold
You can
Earth.
cast
Okay.
Mold Earth.
Oh,
Where stone you target is on the ground. You can cause it to become difficult terrain, or I can turn it into like normal terrain if it's already difficult.
Okay, so I was just listening to a podcast, and they were using Mold Earth to move solid rock, and then they got an email that said that it only works on like soft dirt and stuff, like dirt that can be molded and not rocks.
You choose a portion of dirt or stone.
Oh,
that's
okay.
within range,
All right.
and that fits within a 5-foot cube.
Okay, fair enough. Then yeah, it's within a 5-foot cube around you guys. The jagged rocks become like shaved down as they kind of turn into dust, and the dust kind of just billows away in the wind, and you guys are now sitting on smooth stone that is level with gravity.
nice.
At the
Is
suggestions.
this a perfectly smooth? Is this a perfectly smooth area?
No, it turns like rough terrain to normal terrain basically.
Yeah, so it's just like all the jagged parts of the rock are now sanded down, so it's just a smooth surface.
I'm gonna like start feeling the smoothness of it. Yeah, that's fucking nice. That's a good party trick. I want to have you for a drinking game later. But-
Ramil, what was your name again?
Ramiel.
Ramil. I'm gonna call you Ram.
Like that, sir.
keep your voice down, please. Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to be plucked up by an Aarakocra. I'm a tiny gnome. They will carry me away.
Would
They
you?
can't lift me. I'm too big.
At the suggestion of a scout, I'm going to speak up and say,
If you need stealth, I would suggest the construct built specifically for stealth.
You suggest the construct what?
the construct built specifically for stealth.
Oh, gotcha.
Is
I
my
also-
voice
I
not
also-
clear?
It's kind of going in and out, yeah, when you use it.
I'm also pretty stealthy, being that I do like to hunt often in these types of terrain.
What is your stealth modifier?
That's a little like awkward question to ask there, bud.
Yeah, that's
It's
metagaming,
very
Bunsen.
good.
Let's
I
not
have-
do
I have
that.
teachers. I have been
I
told
said,
I am
why
the
don't we-
teachers.
Why don't we send Ramden because he hasn't set a boat on fire or anything like trying to make out.
I'll tell you what, I'm a tiny gnome. I will head ahead and see if I can spot anyone without them seeing me. Fair?
I mean, obviously, I wasn't saying what's your stealth modifier in game, but I was trying to
I know. You were trying to metagame.
I was trying.
If the path is clear ahead, make a bird call and we'll follow.
The
I'm
path
just
isn't
going to-
clear. Bark like a dog.
How about I just come back and tell you if the path is clear?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, sure. I mean,
He leaves to let you guys keep talking.
I have two. I can have 2 instances of this up, so I can keep at least 10 feet normal terrain. So we have 5 feet behind, like, at us, and either 5 feet behind us or 5 feet ahead of us.
What is your opinion on the sound of this process? Because I would think it would be loud.
It does require words. It is component S. So.
So it's got a verbal and somatic component?
Oh no, only a somatic.
Okay.
So even then, no words.
Okay.
Oh.
But I mean the sound of actually shaving down stone to be smooth.
Sounds like a lint thing, but.
Or is that a magical thing that doesn't make any sound? I'll let you decide so that I don't.
It does manipulate Earth, so the Earth does shift a little.
Okay.
So that I think would make noise.
Yeah, I would think shaving down rocks would make noise personally, but
But if it's rough terrain, it would take half time.
yes. So I guess that's going to be your trade-off in this particular instance. Is it will be you just did it and it went is it like ground down the jagged rocks, and so to keep doing that as you're walking, your approach is basically going to be
If anything, that'd be intimidating.
True.
Where I walk.
I'm just like keeping an eye out just in case there might be anything around.
Can I?
Or if there's any pretty seashells, I'm gonna look for pretty seashells.
They got ground up, didn't they?
There wouldn't be any. I think there's a cliff.
So
There could be nice.
Gimbal comes back down out of the trees and climbs down some rocks and comes back down to you all, and he just says, "I don't see anything obvious, but except for the sounds coming from the beach, you can hear them all the way into the entry to the pass. I'm talking about you folks."
Oh, I think he's talking about.
The talking and the manipulation of stone, that is definitely echoing right through the passage. So they probably already know we're coming, and will probably continue to know how close we are if we keep making noise.
So in that case, we'll go radio silent for now. Or quiet. Sorry.
Yes, turn your walkie-talkies off. I think it would be a good idea for us to just quietly see if we can sneak through the passage. Perhaps they saw the boat and thought it was the boat and are ignoring us now.
So
I
are we
say
all going to
thumbs
make a
up.
stealth check?
Yes.
Are we all hitting that stealth? Some of us are gonna disadvantage because we're in armor.
Yes. Go ahead and roll stealth checks for me. And if you have armor on, hit the disadvantage button.
Ooh.
what constitutes armor?
Like if you have,
Medium, I think it up.
yeah, medium. If you have light armor, it's probably fine.
My stealth
What
is
about
not great.
chain? Shell that chain's heavy, so I guess that's a disadvantage, right?
Yeah,
He's all like,
that's definitely disadvantage.
oof.
Double click the little dice icon.
Remember to hit the disadvantage?
I did hit this.
Alright, so double click the little dice.
Yeah, there you go.
We all have to do this.
Okay. All right, so Tychus and Bob bringing up the rear, clink, 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 clink.
Doc and I have the exact same stealth roll somehow.
Yeah, you do. But the rest of the party's pretty quiet. The boat is still in view, so it's possible that any Aarakocra or Tabaxi that are seeing that are thinking whatever sounds might be coming from that direction. You don't know. You guys approach. There's a bunch of trees growing into this passage, and this giant 1,000-foot wall cliff has this only one narrow spot where the trees kind of run through it, and so there's a lot of cover, but also a lot of cover for if people wanted to go up higher ground and aim down into the trench. So you guys have to be very careful as you go through, and as you're walking through, you hear some branches snap ahead of you.
As we're walking through the passage.
Yes. Who's in front, by the way? Let's figure out marching order real fast.
I
Uh,
was trying to suggest at the beach me because I'm the quietest, or that's what I claim to be at least.
Okay.
I'll take second, not because I'm quieter, but because I'm kind of big.
Okay.
And I think I can take a few hits.
Okay. So knock and then no name, and then I'm gonna say Gimbal is right behind you. No name.
I guess whoever wants to be next in line.
I mean, since I'm also like one of the quietest ones, I'll be the fourth.
Okay. And then Bob is the fifth, and Tychus, you mind bringing up the rear?
I'm the most heavily armored. It would make sense.
Okay.
Vanguard.
All right. So you guys are walking through, and then suddenly you knock. You're up front, and you hear the twig snap. No name. You also hear it. Gimbal hears something, and he just says, "What was that? Did you hear that?"
I want to ready my arm, which has the crossbow thing on it.
Okay.
The crossbow
I'm
thing.
going.
Yeah, it's part of my arm. It's badass.
I'm going to use my senses to try to see if I can notice anything moving up ahead that might be trying to move around us.
Okay. Roll me a perception check.
Got you, Chief.
No.
Yes,
Solid.
Jesus Christ. Fuck off.
you can't see very well because of all the people in front of you, and also there's tons of foliage, so it's really hard to see anything.
Can I be making a perception check as I'm aiming for?
Sure. Yep. Go ahead.
How
You
about
also cannot see anything.
It's a good thing you didn't.
You just can't do anything.
It's a good thing that
I
you didn't
don't
roll
have
to come
eyes.
back on
Get off
land.
my case.
It's a
the
good thing you
best
didn't roll
rogue
to come
ever.
back on land, knock. You would have rolled a nat one.
All right.
I can
So
see clear over everyone, so
you guys heard the twig snap. Are you guys going to keep marching forward?
I have stopped and I'm just looking forward closely.
I did not get the memo, and I'm still walking. So they stopped.
I
Don't
got a
bump into
14, thankfully.
All right. So you're listening a little more carefully, and you hear another faint twig snap, but it sounds farther away.
I'm going to quietly turn and go, we heard a twig snap. I just heard a second twig
Oh dear.
snap."
Oh dear. And Gimbal turns around and he tells the person behind him, which is Ramil, and he just says, "Ram, we heard a twig snap ahead. Tell the others behind you."
Turn to the others.
All right, Knock, I'm going to leave it up to you to decide whether you keep marching forward because everyone's following you.
I'm going to be staying put for a few more minutes if I hear anything else.
Okay. All right, so you wait a few more minutes, and you don't hear none of you hear anything else.
All right, I'm gonna quietly continue forward.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so you continue forward for probably another 5 to 10 minutes as you make your way through this passage here. And you guys come around the other side. You're starting to see the back side of the cliffs now, as you come through this little passage. And it opens up on either side. You can see some clearings between the cliffs and the foliage. But straight in front of you, the foliage that's coming through the passage heads straight into a much larger forest. And because you're coming downhill, you can see more of this area. So I'm going to go ahead and reveal some more here. Let's see. That's probably good. You guys are able to see from here out these directions. Can probably see a little more forest there. And you don't hear anything else as you approach. I'm going to go ahead and drag that little green pin over so you guys can get an idea where you are.
Darn it, I can't see the forest for all these damn trees.
Can I make an investigation check to see if I can tell what was in front of us?
There's trees in front of you.
I mean, what was
before we
No, that
continue,
was
is it
like
just
10
me,
minutes
or
ago.
is Deranged like extremely quiet?
It's just you. Oh, no, he is kind of quiet now.
You guys don't hear me? Hello?
Oh, yeah, you are
I
quiet.
barely hear you.
What the
There, now you're
I
good.
thought-
Now
yeah,
you're good.
when I last
My
heard you,
bad.
you were quiet, but I thought that was because you were whispering.
Oh yeah, I mean I was whispering before, but I've been talking pretty loudly. But anyways, I mean, I would also like to double check to see if there were what animals might have been through.
Okay.
It was just the foliage like snapping and.
Okay. Roll me
Like nature.
roll me an investigation check. Or I guess that'd be is that a survival check?
I
Well-
think it would be more of an investigation, but also or nature. Could be. Nature.
Is there a nature check? Oh, there is a nature check.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
Okay,
gonna
let's do that.
investigate with them, giving him advantage.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead and roll a nature check with advantage then.
That would be
You
three
get-
minutes check, right?
Well, it's the 5e rules are really simple. Like if you're getting help, you just roll with advantage. So
Yeah.
sweet. Okay. So you all are looking around very carefully, trying to see if you can tell what maybe animals might have gone through here, and you can definitely see that there's some leaves that have been gnawed on. So there's some type of herbivore that's been gnawing on a bunch of leaves around here. There are some snapped branches that form a little bit of a passage that goes kind of this way. It's hard. This arrow is picky. Kind of heads off this way and like out into the clearing. So like an animal had like traversed through there, maybe a bear or something large enough that you can tell it's kind of made a little tunnel of twig snaps.
To be specific, we were trying to see if we could tell any signs of what was in the passage in front of us.
What do you mean? There's trees in the passage in front of you.
No, in the passage that we just passed through.
Right.
We
Yeah.
heard something in front of us. It was
Are you talking about the twig snap?
Yeah.
Oh, well, there's lots of snapped twigs, and there's no way to know what specific twig snapped and what caused it now.
Okay.
Not that you can see anyway.
I'm gonna examine the path that was made by or something, because we don't know if it's an animal yet. It could be another being. To make sure that if it'd be smart to continue along its path, or if we need to make our own.
Okay, so you look at it. There's not much else to tell. It's just whatever animal tried to cross from, say, like from one clearing to the other. So
Right,
let's
but
say like that.
I want to look for like footprints or like droppings or anything that might have been left. If it was foraging, it looks like it was foraging, so dropping some
Sure.
footprints, stuff like that.
So
Make sure.
it's pretty hard to see any footprints here because there's just so much debris from all the plant life on the ground that there's not like any mud or anything to make a footprint in. But you do, if you continue walking through that tunnel, you spot some dried droppings.
I'm gonna go ahead and take a twig and push them apart, see if I could get a good idea of what it would be.
Okay.
Take a good sniff of them.
I think that would be a survival check, wouldn't it? Or would that be another nature check?
I would say nature.
Well, investigation is more like I'm trying to find something, but you need to have the knowledge to know what it is. Like, if I pulled apart a random turd in the wilderness, I wouldn't know what the hell it was. So.
I would say nature would probably be the best bet.
Yeah, I think probably.
Okay.
nature, yeah.
After
Roll-
all, nature calls.
Roll nature. Okay. All right. So, you are adept in the knowledge of some of the natural creatures that inhabit these types of areas, and
I know
you are,
turds well.
huh?
I know turds well.
Yes, you're adept in turd knowledge, and you're able to tell that it's clearly some type of mammal, and you can also tell that it's an herbivore.
He's the scat man.
See, I was gonna go with shit for brains, but that works.
Stop.
You can
That's
tell by
good,
its
that's
droppings that it's very like just kind of dry and grainy, and you can tell that whatever this animal is eats plants.
Well, good news, everybody. Whatever might have been here really prefers plants than meat. But that doesn't mean that we shouldn't proceed with caution. So let's continue to be very quiet about this.
Yes, herbivores can still be very dangerous.
There are a lot of things that like to kill us, even when they are herbivores. Cows,
Okay.
for example.
Yes, I suggest we head south, since that is the direction of our destination.
What's the guy's name?
Gimbal.
Gimbal. Do you know if there's wild dinosaurs around there?
Bob, quiet now. Now, what did you ask? Dinosaurs?
Yeah, is there wild dinosaurs around here that you should be alarmed about?
There's tons of dinosaurs in Schult. Did you not see all the dinosaurs in the Port Nyanzaru that have been domesticated?
Oh, we're not from here.
Oh, yeah.
Well, yes, but you were in the port where I found you,
Yeah,
where we were
if
surrounded
there's
by
wild-
dinosaurs.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm gonna continue south.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right,
don't
so
worry, guys.
Gimbal pushes forward. Let's go ahead and clear some of this away.
Alright, guys, be careful. There's dinosaurs here. We don't know what they might do to us.
All right. So you guys push your way through into the wilderness more, and just as you get about right here, where I moved that green pin, You see standing next to some rocks and some ferns an 8-foot tall statue. It's humanoid in shape. It has bronze fists, iron joints, and an adamantine breastplate. An iron helm with slits for eyes, and the rest of the statue is made of sculpted wood reinforced with bands and rivets of adamantine. Scattered around its feet are offerings of food, feathers, colored stones, and skulls.
Does it look like I take the helmet off?
Sorry, what?
Does it look like we can take the armor off?
No. So it's a really large statue. You might be able to get some of the armor off.
I was gonna say that I was wanting to immediately do a check to see if I can tell if it's a fellow construct.
Yes. Go ahead and do. What would that be? An insight? No, not insight.
I
Investigation.
think it
maybe?
would be investigation.
Yeah, let's do investigation.
All right. Am I advantage because being a construct, I know what to look for?
Or you could just ask it its name, and when it doesn't reply,
Okay. There's no construct language.
beep boop beep.
No.
Um,
Stop being racist.
Yeah, whoa.
I mean, are you really a race? You're
yes.
constructed.
I'm gonna go ahead and say that yes, you can roll with advantage to tell if it's a construct.
All right. Because I mean that's the first thing that comes to my mind as a construct.
Okay.
That is a 21.
Okay. Yes. So you look at the statue and you recognize it as a shield guardian shield guardian that's been deactivated.
Let's go some shields now.
I'm going to turn to the party and gonna say,
So this is no statue. This is actually a fellow construct. Been deactivated.
do I know
Looks like it's been here for centuries.
do I know anything about reactivating shield guardians? Oh, first of all, do I know if they're hostile?
So
Don't do that.
let's see here. Yeah, so you understand that shield guardians are constructs that have basically been powered by magic to protect someone. And so they're usually bodyguards for someone. Usually like kind of the more frail magic wielders tend to have these guys around, like wizards and stuff.
So it's kind of like a golem
Yeah.
in functionality, at least.
Yeah.
All right. Do I know anything about how to reactivate one?
Roll. No, I'm not even gonna have you roll. No, you don't. You haven't seen one in a long time. Hey, Rainbow, we're getting breathing. Your mic.
Oh, sorry.
I'm
I'm
going
just
to suggest that we continue on carefully.
Yeah.
Because this thing might be awake, because I do see skulls here. This might
I'm
be
just
a
gonna
reason
be-
for these skulls.
You do.
as long as we're staying here, if at all, I'm just gonna be looking this thing up and down, seeing if I can find anything about
So-
how to reactivate.
So the other thing you were able to tell about this thing is that there's clearly somebody is admiring this thing because they've left offerings of food and feathers and colored stones and skulls around its feet. And they are fresh offerings.
All right.
How fresh is the food?
I mean, it hasn't rotted.
How
So-
fresh are the
Is
skulls?
it like good to eat or no?
You can't
I
you
wouldn't
can't tell,
freeze.
but it hasn't gone rotten yet. So it could have been there for a day or two probably still. And you wouldn't know the difference.
As I'm looking this thing up and down, I'm gonna ask.
Would anyone know any way to reactivate this?
No.
By the way, do you guys need to take a break at all? We're 15 past 9.
I'm good.
I'm okay.
What was that?
I said, why do we want to reactivate the guardian?
Because. Did you ask that in character actually?
Yes.
All right.
Because it's a fellow construct. I can't just leave here.
But it has found new life in its sleep.
Does this look like life to you?
more importantly,
Because
it's
it's a
very
fellow
clear
construct doesn't mean it'll be your friend.
there's
He was
risks
built.
and rewards to it, for sure.
He was
If we awaken it, there's no guarantee that we can communicate with it. But if we can, it's very clear the natives hold it in high regard. It's possible that we could win the favor of this construct, but at the same time, I don't believe waking it up is worth the risk of having to deal with it and the very angry natives that would be here, considering we would be attempting to kill what they probably perceive as a god.
more importantly, he was built
Him.
in servitude
Them.
of an organic, and he's even still in servitude of someone else, even as he's deactivated. We have to do something.
He
Don't be racist now.
Gimbal looks at you, Tychus, and he just says, "I'm sorry. What was your name? I don't think I caught your name."
Tychus.
Tychus. I think that is very insightful. I think you all should listen to Tychus. I think the natives
agree.
here would be
I
very
agree with you.
disgruntled by trying to animate or desecrate this religious idol.
Also,
like-
we have no idea how it would react to a person being outside of its world.
I'm gonna give a nudge on its leg.
A nudge on its leg.
Yeah, like trying to jostle it awake, basically.
Okay. All right. So to get to its leg, you kind of have to move a bunch of the offerings out of the way. Are you going to move them?
Sure.
Okay. So you move a bunch of food, a few skulls and stuff out of the way, and you get to the leg, and a little shiny glint of light catches your eye just behind the leg.
Can I investigate?
Yes. Go ahead and roll an investigation check for me.
The only thing that can stop Nox's crusade for saving his brethren, her brethren, is the crusade for gold.
Well, no. I wonder if this is related.
Okay, and you see something on the ground just behind the leg there, and you pick it up, and it looks like some kind of amulet. And it's got a little button on the back of it, and it looks like it's made of the same material that the construct is made out of.
I'm going to step back from the shield guardian, like back to in front where and facing in front of it, like where the offerings are, and then I'm going to press the button.
Oh, here we go.
Okay, all right. You all see him. You all see Bunsen, or not Bunsen, Nock step out from the offerings on the statue, and back into the tiny little bit of clearing in front of it. And you see him holding this amulet with a very clear button on the front of it that is like kind of glowing a little bit. It's kind of it glows like a yellow, and then it fades out, and then fades in and fades out just slowly. And he steps out, and he's about to press the button. Does anybody intervene?
I really hate to do this, but
I go to slap his wrist.
What is that?
I really hate to do this, but I've been drinking and now I can only think of a taco. So do you mind taking a 5-minute break to get a taco?
Is Rainbow the only one that wants a break?
I mean, I could go for some water, but I'm chilling either way.
All right, let's take a 3-minute break. How about that? Is that enough time?
3 minutes sounds good. Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
When we come back, I'm gonna slap Nox's arm with my quarterstaff and keep him away from the. No.
Have you no thought for inorganic life?
So
I
here's
have
how-
thoughts for
here's-
my organic life
Here's
at the
exactly
moment.
how this is gonna go. Here's literally 100% exactly how this is going to go. You're gonna try to whack it out of his hand. It's not quite gonna do it, but it's going to be enough to start a loud tussle. The natives are gonna notice. They're gonna burst out in desperation. Nock is gonna push the button. That thing is gonna awaken, and all of a sudden, we're just in the middle of a Matrix action scene.
Or
$10 on that is how it goes down.
I know, right? Just imagine. Especially when you want to just be like a quick, soft, like tap. No, like
Tychus knows his
slapping
party
away-
members.
slapping away the hand of a child. No.
No name here who understands and appreciates the peaceful life that comes in his slumber, where he is worshipped as a god, and Nock, who doesn't understand that at all because everyone keeps talking over her.
Well, I feel like or Naka feels very personally invested in this,
Fair
for
enough.
various reasons. Reasons that she has not divulged to anyone yet.
Understandable, but at the moment we can come back to this. We can circle around in this, put a pin in it.
Baby,
I'll remember exactly where we are,
you
so that we can
have
come back and
drinks,
save your little friend.
please. I'm thirsty. Thank you. I need something to drink.
Does that sound like a good idea?
Does what sound like a good idea, Durange?
I'll remember where we're at, and then we'll come back, circle around back to come in and save your little friend. When we
If
have
you-
the ability to be
Oh,
revived.
are you playing right now?
Huh?
Are you playing right now?
No. I'm just saying,
Oh.
as out of character, the plan for the
Oh, okay.
To be fair, I can
For the-
perfectly
for the
remember
thing.
where things are without a map. So like after I've seen a map, so like
Let,
you know.
like the way that Naka feels about this is, imagine you come across a body in the forest, like a living being's body. Are you just going to leave it there if it looks like they could still be alive?
Possibly. Possibly. From what I've heard, this is a situation where the natives consider this to be great, and fucking with it would probably make the natives angry.
Yeah, but this is a sentient being. Do you not care about its own freedom?
At the moment, I care more about survival. We need as many allies as we can get, and making new enemies before we even hit them, because we want to save everybody. Not a good idea. Just my thoughts.
Rainbow's back.
Yes, but now we're waiting on Jay. Oh, you're here? Oh, okay. All right, so everyone's here then. Let's go ahead and pick up where we left off. Knock steps.
I think Bryn said that she was gonna get some
Oh
water.
no, I'm here.
Oh,
I was
okay.
asking Jay to go get
She was asking Jay to go. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear. I just heard I want
Tychus
water,
is
and
just,
I'm like,
Tychus is just watching all this going on.
All
I'm
right.
gonna quarterstaff
Okay.
and gently like move Nox's arm away from the machine. No.
Okay, so Knock, you see this staff come across your forearm while you're holding the amulet and looking at it. And you're about to touch the button, and the staff kind of moves your hand away just gently, and you hear Ramiel say, "No."
I'm gonna be kind of mad. I'm gonna say, so quietly. I'm not gonna be screaming. I'm gonna say,
Do you have no care for living beings other than yourself?
I have more care for survival at the moment than later. We can come back to this.
I push the
Really-
button.
I
Yes, they
really
might.
doubt that will come back. You guys don't seem to care.
Rainbow, I know you're drunk, but can you try to be a little serious? Your husband is dying.
I will make sure that we come back for this. I give you my word on it.
More importantly, Tychus would step forward. I'll give you mine. I know what it's like to be caring for other people. I'm not here for my own sake, as I'm sure you could probably guess. This is another living being. I understand that. But we cannot risk ourselves. Without
Making
us,
friends, making enemies.
without us, this person has no choice, no chance of waking up regardless. But if we wake it up, and all of us are to die, then it is all for nothing.
Mr. Knock, I again think you should yield to Tychus's words. And also, I think Ramil has a good point. We can always come back.
Yeah, but it could also help us with the natives.
Well, so far we haven't encountered any natives, and activating this will probably, almost surely, cause them to be angry with us.
You don't
Can
have to
I-
put the amulet down. You don't have to do anything right now.
Can I ask?
Let's return.
Ask Tychus.
I'm sorry, repeat that one more time.
I'm asking Tychus to
Can you just
Y-
talk without the
yeah,
filter,
talk without the
please?
filter.
Oh, I thought I had it off. I'm sorry. I'm asking if Tychus can make a persuasion check. Tychus?
Rolling it.
He's working on it.
That's a 17.
I begrudgingly open up a compartment and put the amulet away.
Gimbal breathes a sigh of relief. Thank goodness.
I apologize. I know this is important to you,
No,
and
no,
I
no.
apologize if I make it seem like I am pushing us forward without any care for your desires or anyone else's. But you must understand we're here for an amount of people that are greater than our own. What you've
I
just
give
done
Knock
is
a bow in
what you've
thanks
just done is a step towards
for-
earning our trust, and I'm thankful for that.
As soon as we're done following, I would like to come back here.
As soon as we are safe and are able to, we will be able to free this being from its prison.
I think that is a fair compromise. You are a very logical group. I'm very glad I'm with you.
Glad to be with you, man.
I've made too many mistakes in my life to make any more. All it
Wow.
takes is taking things slowly and thinking.
I am-
Sometimes the path becomes clear.
I like that philosophy. I am glad we're taking the amulet with us, so that it may not be accidentally activated, if that is indeed its purpose.
Indeed. And
We
with
should
that
move
said,
forward. We're
we
still in
should
the middle of a
move.
clearing.
Yes, let us head south.
Can I ask that we have a pin put here?
Put where?
Is that just
Oh.
yeah.
Oh, I have a pin there. Do you want one for you?
One that we can see.
To be fair, no
Yeah,
name
mark
can,
it on. We'll
can
mark it
take
on the
you
map
there
then. Since
at
we're
any
just
time.
using the map anyway, we'll mark this spot on the map.
Yeah.
Okay, then let me see. A pin has to be something, so here we go. I can just do this.
Yeah, deactivated
Deactivated
shield guardian.
shield guardian. No, I know, but it has to be like a note, a story entry, an image. Like I have to figure out what object to create. Is all I was saying.
Gotcha.
Okay, and then make that shareable. You guys can see that, right?
Where is
let's
Yeah.
see this.
Okay.
Yes.
And then I shared the sheet with you too, and then we'll just make note in this sheet that Nock took a glowing amulet. There. Okay. Put it right there. That's where you guys were, and then yeah, you guys are heading south, right?
Yes.
Okay. Are you guys maintaining the same marching order?
It would make sense too. Yes.
Okay. All right, you guys push through the foliage here, and again, actually, you know what? Let's roll some fresh stealth checks.
Yeah, I imagine so.
And we're all still armored, or still with disadvantage. I'd reckon.
Yeah,
Nope,
unless you're gonna
didn't
take it
do as
off.
well.
So we need disadvantage.
Oof.
Everyone who has armor has disadvantage.
Wow, a 14.
Ooh.
Yeah, nice. With disadvantage, that's pretty good. Okay, so all right, so
Nothing critically
you.
bad.
Yeah, and you guys are okay. You're still making kind of the same amount of noise you were before, as you guys are walking, just kind of very gently clinking armor and stuff like that. But the jungle is loud, so my sounds aren't working today. But I had jungle sounds that I was gonna play to provide some ambiance. And there's tons of like animals and birds and all sorts of creatures that you guys can hear off in the distance. Like it's the jungle. It's during the day. The jungle is pretty loud. And so your sounds are kind of stifled by that a little bit. So you guys are able to push forward pretty easily. Get open this next thing here. You guys push.
Something sounds with the shove bot, or is
I-
muted?
I just said that my sounds haven't been working.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you said that you can find jungle sounds.
No. You guys push through the foliage and you see a crude like timber fortification, a walled compound with watchtowers and a tent inside it. Encircled by a ditch bristling with sharpened stakes, a large gatehouse faces the river on the shore of which are 4 rowboats tied to a wooden post. So you guys come across this camp here, and let me just reveal the part of the map it's talking about.
I thought you said robots instead of rowboats. I had a guess.
Bunsen. Okay, so
Rowboats.
let me move this a little bit. Okay, so the right. I think if I share this, you guys can't click it, right?
Click what?
If you click that new green pin, Camp Vengeance, it just tells you can't view it, right? Or can you? If you can, close it really fast.
I
Okay.
don't see it.
Okay.
I started to read,
Oh,
but
there it
then
is.
you were like, close it really
Oh,
fast.
okay. All right, never mind. Oh, go close it. Close it. All right. Test over. Sorry. Okay. So you guys are in this camp here, or in front of this camp here, and you can see the wooden walls surrounding it, and you can see through a little opening of a window. There's a tent. There are tents inside of it, and there's a little ditch around it, and that have sharpened stakes in them. And then there's a large gatehouse on the other side. I probably shouldn't have read that since you guys are coming at it from a different direction, but it's fine. There's an entrance on the other side, basically facing the river, and that's the river. In case you can't tell.
I whispered to
Yeah.
everyone else, this looks real friendly. We should definitely avoid it.
Yeah, I'm going to quietly ask.
We can't hear you.
Broke up.
I asked
I think you've got to stop using the filter. I don't think it's. We can barely ever hear it.
Is it a volume thing? Is it a lack of clarity?
It fades out.
In and out.
Yeah, it starts off louder and then it kind of just fades out.
Is this any better?
So far,
Yeah.
I quietly ask, is this Mabalo?
are you asking that to Gimbal?
I'm asking that to like whoever's listening.
Yeah, gimbal.
Okay, and Gimbal pipes up and just says, "I do not think so. No."
Recall.
Mambala is near the basin. I've never seen it myself, but there's a large basin that this river flows into.
If you all will recall, remember that we spent time with those dwarvish partiers in the inn. They said they were coming this way. Perhaps they took the more dangerous route and beat us here, already being able to set up camp.
Sorry, do you mind repeating that one more time?
I said that you weren't here for this, but when we were at the inn we were staying at, we encountered a large group of dwarven explorers who initially tipped us off to this location. Perhaps this is them. Perhaps they beat us here. I would still be wary.
This is a camp set up. Scott.
Perhaps they're making multiple trips back and forth.
Well, this camp has fortified walls, so it's clearly some kind of permanent, semi-permanent at least, structure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to say steer clear of it, but if you guys want, go ahead.
If you want us, if we do want to investigate, I can go scout it out. But I
I'm sorry. One more time.
I can't hear.
Yeah, we're losing you again.
Listen, just cut it for the rest of the night until you can troubleshoot.
Yeah, we can just RP that he is robot.
Yeah. Beep boop beep.
Just start talking in beeps and boops.
Well, not along. Yes.
Um,
Insightful friend.
So, I'm going to say, so if you guys want, I can scout it out if we do want to, but I suggest we just move on.
Down to move on. We're not
There's too many-
entirely sure.
Too many risks involved,
Yeah.
but it could be dangerous if we move on. They could be.
We're in the middle of a jungle. Everywhere is dangerous.
I just realized that this has a map, so here you guys go.
We're all here like,
So-
let's move out of this place. There's a map.
So you guys are right here. Oh, let me make that public link. There we go. Can you see the green link in the top?
Yes.
Okay, and you guys can see down into this sort of like pit where this fort is set up. So there's like a trench around it with spikes in the trench, and then you can see the wall.
How many days have passed since we've seen the dwarfs at the bar?
This is the same day.
This is the same day. Yeah, you got up this morning and talked to those dwarfs, and then you headed out on ship.
I don't think this is the dwarfs' place at all. I mean, we only just talked to them today, and they haven't left yet.
If I'm thinking, this is far too advanced for any native cultures to have put up. This is definitely the work of outside explorers. This could perhaps be an outpost.
Could be a bandit camp. They like to.
What use would bandits have to be out this far? There's no one to
They're
steal from
traders.
but the natives. I
Anyone
feel like
want-
this is most certainly a
Um,
trading or hunting outpost.
I'm going to make the astute decision to do a perception check to see what I can see about the camp, to see if I can tell who might have made it.
Can't recite it.
Okay, go ahead and roll a perception check. Okay, so you can definitely tell that it's a more civilized group. So the natives probably have nothing to do with it. In fact, you can tell that it's constructed to keep those types of people out, creatures and natives and stuff that are all the hostile things. With the way they've dug the trench and filled it with spikes and built up a huge wall, the structures are very reminiscent of something that would be built in Port Nyanzaru or elsewhere in other civilized places. So yeah, so you don't know who built it or if they're even still there. But you can definitely tell that it was built by somebody foreign to Schultz, most likely.
Okay,
I
would
feel
you
as-
would you like me to investigate this or not? I can scout.
I feel like scouting is unnecessary. What it is, the only thing
Where-
we might gain from it is figuring out if it's occupied. I feel as if going up and communicating to these people would be our best bet. So we should move as a unit so that we are transparent.
I must point out that this is definitely not our destination. So if time is of the essence, then I suggest we move on.
We can come back to this at a later point. Also,
Mm-hmm.
I got bad heebie-jeebies on. I don't
Yeah.
enjoy this idea.
May I make a quick suggestion to the DM? Like, is it possible to change the pin "You are here" to like a brighter red so it's easier to see?
No, I only have green. I only have the ability to make it public or make it private. I don't choose the colors.
Okay.
Very well, but we should almost certainly keep this in mind. For we do not know if where we are forced to stay could be as hospitable or not. We might have the means to set up a camp, but we might not have various other means. This could be a valuable stopping point on our way back, or
Look, if
perhaps
you
they-
really,
our only way back.
They might also have information for us.
look, if you really want, I can just slip in and out really quick. I can tell you if this is even inhabited.
I feel as if that could backfire tremendously.
I should point out that you guys can clearly see smoke and lit fires through the slits in the.
It's clearly occupied. It's clearly occupied. You can tell because of the fire.
All right, I can investigate. I can slip in and see if they seem hostile.
There's no need to take that risk. Either we move in and try to communicate with them as one, or we ignore it. There's no need to scout it out. There's nothing we
Well,
really gain from that.
I'd rather we keep going towards the base.
Well, I mean, they've been here for a while. They might have information that we don't have.
That is
Are we
true, but
staying or going?
it's a big risk. It's up to you guys. But yes, I mean, someone there might be friendly, but they could also be hostile. Who knows? And the original builders of this place might not even be the ones currently occupying it. So that is another risk you all should consider.
It's a large
So
camp.
I know it doesn't sound too logical to listen to your feeling, but at the moment, this place we're vastly outnumbered, possibly, and we don't know what their intentions are. I'd much rather move ahead and
Yes.
come back later if we can bring some allies, our shield gathering friend, with us. Does that sound like a good idea?
Yes.
It's a humorous one at the very least. We should move
Thank
on
you.
then.
Yeah, we should definitely move on ahead. We can put a pin in this, and come back later.
Very well. I yield to the group consensus.
Let's continue south.
Okay, I'm gonna close that map
If-
now.
If Nock had a face, you would tell that she doesn't know how she feels about enlisting the help of the Shield Guardian.
Guardian, it could help in the long run.
I couldn't hear you.
Their guardian, it could help in the long run, you know.
Is it possible something's going on with Discord?
No, it's just Deranged has some weird mic issues once in a while, and Bunson's issues are always related to the filter.
Yeah, but you cut out for me too for like a few seconds.
Give me a sec here. Let me see if I can actually troubleshoot this. What
You
might
sound
be-
fine right now to me, Deranged.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I have to keep talking at a very like certain level. Otherwise, it's just not
I do have you at 200% for you to sound normal, though. I will say that.
right. Yeah, so let me see if maybe I could turn up my mic itself to make it so that I don't have to talk too loud for it to pick up on me. One sec, I'm sorry.
And I think Bunton's issue is his mic sensitivity with the voice.
Is this better?
Yeah.
But now I'm hearing myself. Better?
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. There we go. Yay, simple fixes. Alright, so we're pushing on ahead.
Yes.
Trailblazing, quite literally.
Just so you guys know, it's about probably about 3 p.m. now. It's taken quite a while for you guys to get out of the port, and then it's been a few hours since you got dropped off at the shore and have made your way into Schult.
Alright.
Alright.
I assume I'm still leading the way.
Yeah.
Let us.
Okay. Let me clear. Let's see. I guess I don't need to clear that. Let me get.
Could you like pin the camp for us, Deanne?
Yes. So I have private pins for these. Do you need a public pin?
It'll be fine.
Okay.
We can just. Yeah.
Okay. So you guys make your way south a little more, and you guys are following the river basically now, and it opens up into a basin here. And I'm going to move your pin right out here as you just come out of the foliage, and you see the river flowing into this basin. And I'm actually going to reveal most of the basin because you can pretty much see it since it's clear.
It's the basin. Guys, it's the basin.
We got there.
Yay.
Okay.
Water.
Water.
Want some water?
Okay, so the river flows out into this basin, and it's kind of a marshy area. It's not like a big lake or anything because it's pretty shallow, so that's why they don't refer to it as a lake. But you guys can see that this large area. In fact, you can see all the way down to here, even as you guys are looking out through this basin. And you recall that you were told that your destination is just west of the basin.
Just around the river bend.
Don't you start with that.
I was really hoping.
I'm gonna suggest. Should we follow that river down there to the west?
No, of course.
We're supposed to follow the rivers north. We could go west. Yeah.
Following the river could be dangerous. The river is a natural occurring water source and would naturally attract both natives and wildlife, and the wildlife here is particularly
Okay, so
dangerous.
we'll walk 100 meters north of the river west. Nock is like Nock's starting to get a little impatient with all of the like, I don't know about this, I don't know about that, what should we do? It's like, alright, can we go?
We
What-
could keep our caution along near the rivers.
Yeah.
It is important that we
Just
take
gonna-
precautions along the way, Mrs. Knock. Miss Knock.
Nock is just gonna continue forward, not be at the river, but like follow a good distance away from it.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll go.
I get some.
So you guys are going like that?
Yeah, and once we
Yeah.
get to like around here, I was thinking I would start heading this way.
Okay. So you guys come out here into this clearing, and I'm going to reveal a little more for you. You can now see all the way back into this area. and you see this huge. So right here, where my arrow is pointing to, that circle that the arrowhead is in, is actually a huge plateau that winds upward, and you can see a path winding up it, and you cannot see anything on the top. But it's a very large plateau.
Do you reckon this is where we're supposed to go?
You talking to Gimbal?
Yes.
Gimbal just says, I've never been myself. I don't know anything out here, but this is the basin, and that's west of the basin, so it does look like a path that we could follow.
All right, let's go. And I'm going to start heading there before we can start
You-
having another episode of indecisiveness.
Well, do we still have the map that was provided to us?
Of course.
Let's review it to see if the terrain looks semi-familiar.
Well, that's the thing. We didn't have that much map. We've been
Yeah.
making the rest of this map.
Yeah, the map was just kind of a general area. She just kind of circled a spot on the general area. Nobody's really mapped the area. She just kind of knew where the basin was on the map.
Quite okay. My bad. I thought that was.
Were
Don't
we
worry
told
about it.
what? Were we told what's here specifically, like in this area to the west?
You were told to seek the wisdom of Mambala or something like that, I believe. Does anyone else recall anything else?
Yeah, I have what the weirdo said right here. Speak to the wise guardian of Oralunga, west of Mabala. She will direct you to that which you seek.
Okay, cool.
Well,
So we're looking for a guardian of Oralunga.
Let's go.
Plateau sounds like a spot where a guardian would be.
Now you said Guardian of Oralunga west of Mambala, right?
Yes.
Okay.
so
Well-
we're going towards the plateau.
So I'm gonna assume that you read that out loud, and Gimbal is just gonna chime in and say, "Well, this is the Aldani Basin that everyone knows of its existence, but no one has really mapped it or explored it. Mambala is west of the basin, and your words of wisdom or whatever they might be say that you need to go west of Mambala. Do we go up this plateau or do we go past it to the west?"
Even if this isn't what we're looking for, it'd be a good vantage point, wouldn't it?
Agreed.
Good point.
Definitely be. In
I assume
favor
we're
of being-
walking as we talk.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
So you guys approach the cliffs of this huge plateau. It's at least like 300 feet high. And you guys, you walk around, well, I'll let you guys decide what to do. Do you investigate around it? Because all you see is a straight sheer cliff in front of you.
Yeah, I want to investigate to see if there might be a little bit easier climbing ability than a sheer cliff.
I'll
Okay.
help.
Okay. I'm not even going to make you roll because all it means is that you guys take the time to walk around the perimeter of this plateau, and on the north side you find a trail that winds up around the side of the plateau. So it's a much easier route than trying to like scale the cliffs.
Okay.
Would our tiny friend, our Gimbal, want help getting up on it, or is he good?
What?
We aren't climbing. We just said
You're
we
just
were
walking on a trail.
Hey man, it's at an incline. He could get tired really quick.
I mean, if you're offering to put me on your shoulders, I'm not going to say no.
Yeah, it'll be like your little kid, you know.
All right, please put me up there. Then I'm tired as hell.
So I go ahead and pick him up, put him on the shoulder.
All right, he sits on your shoulders, and he's a very prim and proper gnome, but he's not above sitting on someone's shoulders, all childlike. So he's pretty happy to be up there.
Would you like some water?
Ah, yes, please. I'm quite
Hand him my
parched.
Hand him my water skin.
Thank you. And he takes a drink. All right, so let's see here. An 1,800 foot. Oh, so I was wrong. It's not 300 feet. It's 1,800 feet high plateau with sheer cliffs that rise above heaps of boulders as large as ships. And then this narrow path that's cut into the cliff face seems to climb all the way to the top from what you guys can tell. So you guys start up on this trail, And you encounter several obstacles, overgrown foliage, and some random boulders in your way, but you're able to carefully work your way around them until you get up to the top. It takes about 3 hours to get all the way to the top of this thing. Are you guys bothering to try to clear the road as you go around it, like pushing boulders off the cliff, cutting away foliage, or are you just gonna move past it?
I would
say
think
cutting
we-
away foliage, but throwing
Yeah,
boulders.
leave the
is
stones.
not
We don't want to attract attention.
Okay.
good. Yeah, hearing a big ass crash from a boulder definitely gonna attract somebody.
Okay, so as you climb higher, I'm going to go ahead and reveal much more of your map now, because you guys can see a large variety of areas from here. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and reveal all of this, because you can see all the way back to these cliffs. And then I'm going to do this radius here, and then I'm going to just go ahead and... There you go. Okay, so you guys are getting higher, way above the forest, and you're not able to see where the rivers come into the basin. You're able to see a large chunk of Schult and the huge cliffs that you guys passed through up that way, and the forest you guys came through in this area. And you guys are even able to see all the way over to Jahaka Bay, where they offered to take you originally. And so you guys you continue climbing to the top. And let's see. You can see, okay, the heart of Uptown.
So we're climbing up a cliff.
West. Hold on one second. I'm just reading. I'm just catching up on
We're
this.
taking a trail up the plateau. We aren't climbing a cliff.
Yes.
Beyond the plateaus to the south. Oh, okay. Hold on. Roll. I need all of you to roll a perception check.
Here we go.
We gonna die, guys.
Okay. You are all able to see even farther. You're able to see all the way down to about this area here. Stupid arrow. There we go. Right there. And you can basically see some kind of shipwreck in the jungle beyond the plateaus, just to the south there. So there's more plateaus. All these little circles you see are other plateaus. You're climbing one of the tallest ones, but there's ones here too. And you're able to see just beyond those plateaus to see some shipwrecks in the jungle. Let's see.
Like, can we suppose they're like airships, or do we even know if that's a thing?
You can't tell, and yeah, you don't know if that's a thing. You've never seen an airship before. One sec, sorry. I've read this before, but I just want to make sure I don't miss anything.
You're good. Take your time, my man.
Okay, so about 100 feet below the lip of the plateau where you guys are coming up on, let's see, it veers directly into a natural cleft in the stone face. Steps are cut into the 15-foot wide crevice, and scenes of jungle predators, flying lizards, and erupting volcanoes are carved in shallow relief onto the walls in ways that make creative use of the natural shape of the rock. When the character, let's see. Okay, so you guys crest over the lip of the plateau to the top here, and the stone steps emerge onto the top of the plateau beneath a once grand but now decrepit wooden gateway. So the gates that sealed this entrance are rotted away. Only their rusted iron hinges and reinforcing bands remain. In their place are heaps of human skulls, picked clean of all flesh and bleached white by the sun. They grin up at you from the roadway and down from atop towering mounds. So this top of this plateau is kind of freaky looking.
Yeah, that seems like a great spot.
So you're saying it's a bridge that's no longer there? Is that what you're saying?
So the sorry, what did you ask, Rainbow?
You're saying it's a bridge that's like no longer there?
No, like a gateway, like almost like it used to be a locked door, but now it's all decrepit, so it's easy to move past. And then inside, on top of the plateau here, you see tons of skulls up on these mounds. It's almost like, it looks like that they used to be like residents of this plateau. Like this plateau is really large, and it looks like people used to live on top of it. But then it clearly looks like somebody came and murdered them all and put their skulls up on these mounds to serve as warning to for some reason.
Unless someone stops me, I'd like to investigate and see if I can tell if anyone's here or has been here recently.
Nah, I'm gonna be
Go ahead.
with you on that, Chief, because I don't like the look of these.
So you're assisting me then?
Yeah, I'm gonna look up, investigate that shit.
That is a 13 for investigation.
Okay. So the only structure that's still intact is a lone hut about 1,000 yards southwest of the gate, and at the edge of a boulder field. So the map makes it look tiny, but realize this plateau is actually really large. The hut is made from thatch and animal hides stretched over the ribcage of an immense reptile. Animal skulls, wind chimes, and totems of feathers and shells rattle in the breeze, and smoke drifts from the hut. Let's see. You're looking around, and yet you see a creature shuffling slowly around the hut, hunched over in an animal-like posture. You're able to tell that it's a human woman, impossibly old, crippled by arthritis, blinded by cataracts. Her dark face and bald pate are outlined with streaks of yellow clay, suggesting the shape of a skull, or perhaps it's her shriveled flesh creating that illusion.
Can I knock on her door?
So she's outside the hut.
Oh. I would like to approach and greet.
Okay, as you approach, you get a better look at her, and you can see that that's what she looks like.
That's a very unfortunate name.
Poo poo. I didn't realize it showed her name.
That's it. We're done.
Here comes
Okay. This is probably a good place to call it, honestly.
Yeah.
We're not gonna recover from that. We're not gonna recover from Nanny Poo.
We're hitting 10 o'clock, and you guys encountered Nanny Poo Poo. What better cliffhanger is that?
All right, everybody. Thanks. That's been. We'll see you next month. Another episode.
Next month?
It's been a month since we did an episode.
Oh, yeah. Well, we skipped one, and then we skipped another one for other reasons, administrative reasons. So we will pick it up next week, though.
Yeah, we will.
Provided I don't get another weird 2-day headache.
I really like how I wasn't even laughing. I was just very matter of fact. Like, that's a very bullshit name.
Nanny Poo Poo. I didn't even notice her name, I'll be honest, until you said that.
Really brown headwear.
Perhaps it means something
Also
different in our
looks
culture.
very-
No, I'm just named after feces.
Oh man, and also the color of her clothing.
That's
It's
yeah.
great. It's great.
Well, just real quick, I just want to say thanks to anybody who happened to be watching the stream. You can also find our shows on the With Disadvantage podcast on all your favorite podcast providers. I'm going to make sure I catch up that podcast feed. It's fallen behind. I think I'm just going to skip editing from now on and just start posting the raw live shows so that the feed doesn't doesn't lag behind the live stream. Anyway, if you guys want to visit us, you can visit us at chevcast.tv, and we'll catch you next week for another episode of our Tomb of Annihilation campaign. You can also find us on Sunday for our usual solstice episode. So thanks, everyone, and we'll see you later.
Bye.
Have a good one.
Goodbye, everyone.